I will call it as number. Now let's say that number into 2 or number into number. Now if I hover over, let's see, it will return array of numbers. That means it will give me a array. So I need to store it whenever it returns. And here, as you can see, number into number, that will give me the square. So I will call it as square. Now let me do console log, and here you go. Here I declared function and I have to provide the function name. So here let's say print name. It will take name as a parameter, and here whatever we pass, it will print that name. So name is, and here name. Print a name, and let's pass this name. So I need to jump to that JavaScript folder and then NodeJS, and here you go, name is Vikas, right? After this, let's place this function inside a object. So let's call const human, and here he will have this first name. So John, he will have age, right? Now, if I would like to print this, so human is an object which have two property, first name and age. First name is John. So here first name is the key and John is the value. Age is 12. Now, as you can see, I was passing here a string and here this number. But here I can pass function as well. So for that, get human. Yeah, means basically we will print the detail of human. So here get human. Now I need to declare a function. I am not expecting any parameter, and I will do the console log here. I need to access this first name and age. So first of all, let's write here this. Okay, I am not doing anything. Just I have to call this, and I am passing here this 2, 3. So if yesterday we discussed how can we call, let's say, human, and now I want to print the first name. So I just need to write first name, right? So first name. Now save it. Let's execute. I got John here. Because this is the first name. Now similarly, I can get human. And what if there is a function? I want to call this function. So for that, dot get human. I know this is a function, so I need to pass this bracket there. Now let's execute. And can you see here? So it printed itself. This function have printed this object completely. So if you can see, first name is John, which is here. Age is 12, which is here. Get human is a function. Get human is a function. That is what it's saying. And at last here we are doing the console log. So here I am getting return as undefined because I am not returning anything from here. Let's see why this is printing here, this whole thing. The first thing here is this. So if we use this keyword in an object, it will have the value of its same object. So right now here, as you can see, we are using this in a object, and this have whole object as a value here. So right now, if I want to print here first name, I need to write first name, and it will return me the first name, John. So get human, right now, let's say I want to modify here. I will modify this complete structure. So return. Okay, so there is another one symbol. At the top of this tab button, you can find this tile. And here I can write here variable name. So let's say I want to call it as my name is, and right now I want to replace with the variable name. So my name is first name. So whatever the value first name comes, it will take. So for that I can write dollar curly bracket, and inside this I can define my variable. So here my variable name is this dot first name. Okay, so this is how I can call it this symbol to get my value. So here this will act as a string, and here it will get replaced by my value. Now, and age is, and this is age. So now if I execute here, as you can see, my name is John and age is 12. It makes more sense, right? So right now I have modified this. So we will have this double quote, we will have this single quote, and this is the tile symbol. So here, as you can see, we have combined this everything in here. Now, if you take a help of other, means let's say double quote, you have to use plus operator there to coordinate. But here in this way, we can write and we can get the value of this variable. So this is the one of the thing. So this keyword we are using in a object. So this will have access to this whole object. So that's why we are getting here this thing. So now let's say you want to pass some parameter, because this is a function, right? So here, let's say you want to pass some other parameter. So what we can call it as. Now I need to pass here that value, hello, and I will receive here as a greetings. Now let me just write here this and see. And here you go. So whatever parameter I pass, so it will act as a argument here, and here I will receive. I will be able to access something like this. Okay. Now let's discuss the same thing in case of function. Right? So in case of function, if I don't declare this type of, means if I have a simple function, so there basically the scope will be global object. So the value of this will be global object. So right now, as you can see, the value of this is this object itself, because we are using inside a object. But if you are declaring inside this function, so here this, right? Because this is just declarative function I have, default function. So now if I declare here, the scope will be, scope is global. Okay, scope is object level. Okay, so this is the one of the difference. Now jump to here, call, bind, and there is a apply. Okay, so JavaScript functions, objects, those are part of object. On the top of them, there are few functions has been written by default. So call, bind, and apply, there are few of them. So now what I will do, I will just declare a function and try to use that. And let's see how that works. So for that here, function, or I can take an example of this human, right? So here, as you can see, I have this John and age, and I have this get human function. Now let's come back, and here we made a simple call as of now. Now let's call this by using call. For that, what I have to do, human dot, and I need to write here call. I need to write this get human dot call. And now this call will take two parameter, as you can see. So first is the this, and second is the argument. Okay, an argument will be separated by comma, means n argument I can pass. Now let's understand. So I will create a object here. So let's say position 1. Now I will pass here this person 1. Okay. Now already we are calling this. So let's see what this function is going to print, because here we are doing this return, as you can see. So now I need to do console log to this whole function. So I will do console log here, and let me execute. And here you go. My name is undefined. I am 56 years old. Okay, so we got this 56, and this name, actually this is, should be the first name. So that's why we got undefined. So my name is person1 and I am 56-year-old. So can you see one thing? This is how we called before, right? Simply. But right now I am calling this by using call method. And in call method, I can pass this as a first as a object. So with the same structure. So here I wrote first name and age. And as you can see, it have forgotten about this value, means this value got overwritten by this. So basically, you can call it a different way, that whatever the value we pass here, that will act as a this keyword value. So that's why here, if I hover over on this call method, as you can see, function dot call, and here this is a, so basically this as a function. So this keyword basically we are passing here. So whatever thing we pass, that will be considered as a this. So that's why we got this first name and here this age. Okay. Now the second parameter we can pass separated by comma. So let's say hello. Now let me just print this. Here you go. I have this hello. If I want to print another, I need to pass another one parameter. In that case here, I need to separate by comma, and here I need to receive here actually. So here, as you can see, whatever the parameter I am passing, I am receiving here greetings. If for the first parameter, second parameter, I have received as a. So this is how actually we can get it here. The call, in the sense, the first parameter we can pass the this object, and second argument can be n number of strings separated by comma. So this is how we call this call method. Now jump to other one, which is bind. So I will replicate the same. Now let me uncomment. Let me remove this, and here bind. Now if I call, can you see? I got here something called function. So in case of call, when I wrote this statement, if I replace call, it will get called. And here you go. I have this my message. I can remove this too for time being. And here, as you can see, I have this my message. But if I replace this keyword with bind, it's not getting call at all. So bind is a function call which will create a function and return you. So right now, whatever the input I get here, this is a function. So you need to call them whenever it's required. So right now, here, result, and here you go. As I said, bind. If I am saying that it create a function, that means this will be a function, right? So right now, let me do result and call it as a function. Now let me see. And here you go. So this is what we passed. And based on this here, actually we got this. So it will create a function. And if you can see, already I am calling it as a function, right? This get human and this thing already as a function. And here I am calling. So this function has been created by bind method here. The second parameter can be passed similar to call. So here I can pass n number of parameter, and those parameter will be separated by comma. Now let's jump to very next one called apply. So here, let me replicate. So now here, let me remove this, and here apply. So the difference between apply and call is, whatever we pass here first, it will remain same. In second, we have to pass this parameter as a array. So here, as I said, it will act as a passing n number of parameter separated by comma, but here I need to pass in a array. So hello and hello too. Something like this I need to call. Right now I can call it directly. It will not return a function. So here, man, and here you go. I have this. Now, if I want to access this, I have here greeting. I need to write only one, and I will be able to access. So greetings, and here you go. I can destructure it to get all the value at a time. So I can write something like this, and I will get all the value of array. So this is a different way of calling a method, which is predefined function in JavaScript. So here call, basically I will pass the object, I will pass n number of parameter, and this object will get replaced with this keyword. Now in second, here bind will return me a created function by its own, and it is more and less similar to call. Apply here, it's similar to call, but in second parameter we can pass here array, and inside array we can pass a number of element. Okay, so this is the one of the most asked question by interviewer in interview. So this keyword and this call, bind and apply. Okay, so now tell me, if I pass here empty object, because this is the object which is empty, what is the result I will get? There is no value in it, right? And here I am trying to see, this is the, just you consider whatever we pass, this will be our this value. So here it don't have this first name, so definitely it will be undefined. This age don't, it don't have age, so it will be undefined. Now let's verify this. And here you go, my name is undefined, I am undefined year old, and this thing. Why? Because my object don't have this property at all, and whenever we call, bind and apply, the value of this will get replaced by this. So now let me create a object, or I can take an example, same example. Okay, now here let's call it as John. Okay, so now just tell me, what if I want to add a new property to it? Initially I have created an object only with two property, first name and age, but right now I realize I need to add another one property, so something called email. So how can I do that? Okay, so let me just print this person2, and here as you can see I got first name and age. Now for adding, so what I have to do, I can write object name dot, and I can assign new property, and here your value, so fbc@gmail.com. Now if I print here, you will be able to see first name, age and email. Person means object name dot new property, and here value of new property. So now guys, tell me one thing, what does it mean by const? Const means we cannot modify it, right? But we are able to modify here, isn't it? How it is possible? Because we have declared it with the const, it's constant, right? For whole program we cannot change the value of it, but here we are able to do that. Actually it happened in case of object. So const, whenever we write, that means we cannot do the assignment. So assignment in the sense, here I cannot write person2 equal to something like this. Okay, now if I do, I hope it will throw an error, assignment to constant variable. So this is a assignment, right? So here we are not assigning, we are just going inside and modifying, so it will not complain. If you do assignment something like this, yeah, definitely it will complain. So in case of array and object, variable can be modified by using const as well. Tell me, I want to delete some of the property. to. So for that, what I have to do, I can write delete and person 2 dot email, let's say, and let's do console log to this person, and most probably we will not have. So this is the first line. What it's printing the value with the email here. Now, after executing this here, we got this deleted. So we don't have that property anymore. If you want to delete this age, let's go with age, and here you go. I don't have age anymore. Okay, so this is how we can delete a property from a object. Now, let's say there is a requirement that I want to get all the keys. So here, as you can see, this is the first name, email, and there is multiple key, right? So I want to get all of them. So how can I get them? So for that here, we have a different property to get all keys of objects. So object dot, and here I have a function called keys. Now I need to pass my object inside. So here person 2, and now let's print this. And here, as you can see, I got this first name and email, which is nothing but key alone, because we have removed here the age. That's why we haven't received it. So there will be some requirement where you need to find the keys alone, so you can use this to get the key. And if you can see here, this is a array. And why? Because whatever the name we provide, definitely that is gonna be a string, and it is a combination of a string, right? So that's why it's returning a array to us. So let's say if you have a bigger here, so means I am not sure how much a big length or something like that object you do have. You will get everything here. Here you go. So you can get all of the property, all of the key here by writing this. Now to get all the value, we have to do the similar. So console log object dot, and here as you can see, we have this bind call. If you do remember, just before we discussed, and why we have, because this function will act as an object in JavaScript. That's why. So right now I will call it as, here there will be values, and I need to pass my object. So here person 2. Now as you can see here, John abcd uh, abc@gmail.com. So I got the value of them in an array. So make sure you have to remember this array, means return type as well, because this is the one of the very required thing going further. Because whatever the logic you write, based on the return type alone you will be writing. Okay, I don't want to comment whole line. Object dot phrase person 2. Okay, let me do this here. And can you see here? So here what I did, let me just execute again. I wrote object dot freeze person 2. So I am freezing this object. Now I am trying to add this and print this. So let's look at first line. This is the output I got from this line. The email is not getting added here. Why? Because this object is freezed. Means email means a extra property cannot be added, or extra property cannot be deleted. It means I cannot modify it. Modification disabled by writing this, because we are freezing the object. So we cannot perform this operation anymore. Now, array, according to the definition, it is a collection of similar data type. Let's create a simple array, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So if I have to print them, I have to just do console.log numbers, and it will get them printed here. Now let's say I want to print one by one, or I want to do some operation one by one. How can I do that? So for that, I have a function called forEach. And as you can see, forEach is a function of array which take a callback function. If you don't understand anything about the any function, nothing to worry. Just keep mouse on this that function and go to here description. So here, as you can see, for each, it will take two parameter. First as a callback function, and first callback will have a three parameter. So first is the value, current value. Second, we will have this index, and third, the whole array it will have. Okay, so now let's see. So what I said, the for each will take a callback function. So now you may ask, what is the callback function? So callback function is anonymous function which cannot be called again because they don't have any name. So now see how can we define anonymous function. So this is the anonymous function. If I remove from here, and if you go, this is how we were declaring the function, if you do remember. And here the function name. Actually, we don't write this. But if you do remember arrow function, this is how we declare. But here, I have to declare with const or something like that. So this is the definition, the whole definition we have. But right now, as you can see, I don't need to declare with the const. I don't need function name. So this parameter will get removed. I have to just declare this here. Okay. Now, as I said, here I will get three parameter. First is the current value. So I will call it as current, not value. I will call it as current number. Second parameter, I will get index. Third, I will get complete array. Now I have to do just console. So get inside, write this console.log. I will print one by one. Let's not confuse. So current number. Okay. Now here you go. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what for the very first time it will print 1. For the second time it will have 2. Something like that. Now I am adding this index. So here, as you can see, for the 1, index is 0. For 2, index is 1 because indexing start from 0. So here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So for the 5 element, I will have the index as a 4 here. Now let's see what this array have. So if I do array, you will be able to see that what array we passed. This is the array we passed, right? And the whole array is here. I do not remember that I have used this parameter anytime. But yeah, you will be using this current value and this index most of the time. Okay. So now what I will do, I will just let it be there so you guys can understand. And here we will not call it as current number or something. We have to provide more concise name here. So as you can see, this is the numbers. So here I will call it as number. Why? Because it will represent a single number. So that's why I will call it as a number here and nothing change. So this is how by using for each we can print each and every number. Now what I can do, I can write this, I can convert this in a single function, one line of the code. So how can I do that? Numbers dot for each. Here I will call it as a number, and here console.log and number. And if you print, as you can see, this line is printing till here, and here this line is printing. And how we were able to convert? If we have a single parameter, it's not mandatory to pass this bracket as well. So you can call it as something like that. Okay. If there is a double parameter, then only you need this bracket. Otherwise, you can go with the single bracket. And you know, the very first parameter will give me the number one by one. So that's why here I am doing console.log and I am just printing them. Let's say I have to modify them, right? So what I will do here, start 2. And here you go. I am not printing actually. So console.log, it will just print them. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Here we have. Now, at the end of the day, this will return something. And that can be found easily. Just hover over on this function. Go here. So here, as you can see, on the array, we can apply this. Here, this is the keyword. What are the parameter it takes? This is the thing it's going to define. And at the last, as you can see, this is the void. Means it will not return anything. This is the void here, which means it will not return anything at all. So where does this affect? So now let's say if I write here A, and if I try to do print this A, so console log this A, I will get there undefined. Why? Because this for each is not returning anything at all. For loop is used for just iterating. So now whenever you have a requirement to iterate through a array, go for each loop. Filter is another one function. If I hover over on it, as you can see, filter, and right now instead of this callback, I have here predicate. And this predicate, if you can see clearly, it will take everything same. So here value, index, and array. So again, it is a similar to callback function, which will take these 3 parameter. Now in return type, can you see array? This is square bracket represents a array. So array of numbers. That means it will return array of numbers. Filter is something that which will filter the array, right? That is what by name we can understand. So let's write here number. Now this is the callback function. And here I will write number, which is greater than 2, just return them alone. If I do here and write numbers more than 2 and print this. So console.log, and here numbers more than 2. Now let me execute, and I'm not sure from where it's printing. Okay, we haven't commented this line. Okay, and here you go. I have 3, 4, 5. So that is what element exists in my array 3, 4, 5, which are greater than 2, and it's printing. So let's see how this happened here and why did it happen. So here, as you can see, filter, as I said, this will give me the number 1 by 1. So let's understand, whenever we create a filter, it will create an array. So I have this empty array. Now, whenever this condition get true, so that number will get injected in this. So now let's understand with our example. So in case of 1, I got this 1 and 1 is greater than 2. It return false. So I will not fill this value here. It still remain empty. Now 2, filter will also iterate 1 by 1 on each element. Okay. So now here 2 is greater than 2. Condition get false. So here it will still remain same. Now 3. So 3 is greater than 2. This condition is true. So immediately it will add 3 here. Comma. Right now 4 is greater than 2. Yes. So here 4. 5 is greater than 2. Yes. 5. And there is no more length. So it will stop this filter. And now whatever array we had, it will return back to here, number more than 2. So whenever we call a filter method, it will create a new array. It will create a new array. So that's why here we have this 3, 4, 5, as you can see here. Now you guys may ask that, means if I write in anything in any order, means let's say as of now we wrote in ascending order, right? So let's say I wrote here something like this as well. Okay, I will, let me increase this value to 4. And now order doesn't mean anything. Here as you can see, 4 is not included, and 5, 6, 68 and 6 are there. If I write here equal, the logic, what did I say, it will act like that. So I need to write equal here, right? It's my bad, it should not be before. That started acting as a arrow function. So here as you can see, 4 got included here right now. This filter you will be using lot of time, lot, because based on the condition, or we will see how to run this loop on object as well. That's why we are just, for understanding, we are dealing with the numbers as of now. Let's see find. This is the find, and as you can see here, find call predicate once the each element of the array in ascending order until it find one where predicate return true. Until it find one where predicate returns true. If such an element is found, find immediately return that element, otherwise find return undefined. So now let me call it as number and get me the number which is greater than 2. Now it will return me an element. As you can see, we are applying on number, so it will return me a number. Or there is a chances that it will return me undefined. In filter as well, I forgot to tell you, what if it doesn't meet our condition? So there is no number greater than 100 and I have something like this. So in that case, I will get empty array, because whenever we write function, whenever we write this filter, it will create a empty array. And if there is a condition satisfied, no, it will keep inserting and pushing them. Otherwise, it will return this empty array. Now, in case of find, if didn't meet any condition, in that case, it will return undefined. Okay, so now let's understand, and it will return a number. So I will call it as number greater than. Can you see the difference between both? Almost both are same, right? So here I can see more, or I can use here more. So the major difference is I wrote here numbers because I know this will return array. And here I know it will return only one element, so I wrote number. So we have to follow these practices going further. So number more than 2. And here you go. I got just 3. As you can see, I have lot of number which are greater than 2. But why did I just get 3? So according to this find, what it will do, so it will start executing one by one. So let's say here in case of 1, it checked the condition. It got false, nothing have been done. 2, condition is false, nothing done. Now for 3, condition got true. So immediately it will return that 3 here and it will stop. It will not execute for others. That is how it works. Okay. So the main hack is here. Find will return the very first element with the true. So now in our case, 3 was that element which condition got satisfied and loop got terminated here. So it will not check for 4, 5s, and this whole remaining element will never get checked. Now let me write here 10. In that case, right now I will get 10. So from here only it's returning me, it's not checking others. We have another one function. So numbers dot, I will take you through map. So here you go map. And if you can see, it's similar again. So it will take a parameter called callback and callback will have these three parameter. So value, index, and array. So I will call it as number. Now let's say that number into 2 or number into number. Now if I hover over, let's see, it will return array of numbers, right? That means it will give me a array, so I need to store it whenever it returns. And here, as you can see, I am doing the square, number into number, that will give me the square. So I will call it as square. Now let me do console log, and here you go. So very first one, what we have written is 10. 10 into 10, 100. 1, it will remain 1. 2, 4, 3, 9, 4, 16. And can you tell me what did just happen on what this map have done? As I said, it will return a array of numbers, but it will modify your element itself. So now let me tell you what the logic here. So here, as you can see, whenever I call, this will return me a, if there is nothing, it will return empty. So now here empty, for the first time, it came 10. So 10 into 10 become 100. So on place of 10, it will return 100, comma. For 1, it will 1 into 1, it's 1. So it will return here 1. For 2 into 2, it's 2, 4. So it will return 4. So it will modify each and every element. So the main hack is here, in order to modify a structure, in order to modify any one of the array, we can go for map. So whenever there is a requirement to modify each and every element, we can go for map. If we have to use this filter, we can go with the filter. Means we have to find. And if
substring,
yeah, you can write anything here. It consider only Boolean value, right? If that is the true, it will get returned. If false, it will not. The simple logic they have. Right here 2, and right now it will return all the element which is multiple of 2. It will multiply all the element with 2 and it will return, as you can see. Now if you want, I can multiply with index, and I can write here index, and here you go. Because index is 0, so whatever the number you have, it got modified and it becomes 0. Here 1, and 2 into 2, 4, 3, and here 4, 5. But here the number is this much, and what is the index will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and index is 6. 6 into 68. So that's why we got this much. Again we have 0, so whatever index is there doesn't mean, because it will get multiplied with number 0 and it will be 0. The same logic we will see on objects. So right now we are just looking at a number, but we will see how to apply same logic on objects as well. Okay guys, so that's it for today. If you have